A week ago, I decided to solve studies for 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis for a week, as I heard about this training method from none other than Pragananda's coach. I have chosen one of the studies I found to be absolutely beautiful. Do not take my word for it though. This study, composed by Mitrofanov in 1967, was selected as the best study of 250 entries. It was selected by a committee including Mikhail Tal, ex-world champion from 1960 to 61 and a ferocious attacker. This is Feed Master Noam Wittenberg back with the weekly upload. I stream 4 times a week on Twitch now. Feel free to check it out. Link will be in the description down below. Here is the study. You might already want to pause the video and attempt to solve this study. Good luck, however. You are going to need it. If you manage to solve this study, you are a legend of the chess game and are on a good way to developing a deep understanding of the 64 squares. Let's break this study down. White has a queen and 3 pawns that are rather far advanced, while black has a queen, knight and a bishop. We could also see that the white king on a5 is being checked by the h5 queen in this position, severely limiting white's options on the first move at least. Instinctually, you'd like to move your king in this position as white, so let's have a look at those options. King a6 is the first move we'll look at. This move threatens 4 checkmates at once. A takes b8 queen, a takes b8 rook, queen takes b8, and finally b7 checkmate. Unfortunately, however, black is able to go queen e2, king a5, queen d2, king b5, queen e2. If the king moves back to a5, then queen d2, and if king c5 in this position, queen e5. And it seems as if white is unable to escape the perpetual checks given by the black queen. If white is to attempt to block the black queen on e5 with the move queen d5, this move loses by force in fact, as black is able to go bishop d6, king c4, queen e2 check, king c3, queen c2 check. The only legal move in this position is king d4, and after queen d3 we have an absolutely gorgeous checkmate. The black bishop on d6 is taking away the escape squares from the king on c5 and e5, and black's king on d3 is delivering the check and defended by the knight, and taking away the c4, c3, e3 and e4 escape squares for the white king. Something worth noticing is that queen takes d5 in this position actually loses. Let's say king takes d5, bishop h7, moving away the bishop, c7, bishop takes c7, pawn takes c7, and king b7, attempting to stop both the c7 and the a7 pawn at once. This is very similar to a phenomenon referred to as pants by none other than Mark Dvoretsky, one of Russia's leading chess coaches. This is the phenomenon of pants, to be exact, is something he calls when a bishop cannot stop 2 pawns at once. Let's have a look at how this looks. This is an example of pants as referred to by Mark Dvoretsky. If black is to move in this position, they can go b1 queen. The bishop takes the queen, and then they are able to promote the other pawn. Notice how it's also possible to start with f1 queen in this position. White's bishop on d3 is unable to stop both pawns conveniently at once. Perhaps a visual reference is that you're trying to put on your pants and you accidentally stuff both legs into one trouser leg. It would feel very wrong, and one of the trouser legs will remain unused. And indeed, in this position, if it's white to move, they could promote one of the pawns and then promote the other one, getting a queen and a king against a king and a knight, which is easily winning. Both the moves king b4, queen h4, king c3, queen h3, and king a4 in this position also results in a perpetual check after queen d1 here. Black is able to continuously check the white king on a4. So white needs to think a bit out of the box and look at the additional options. So when your opponent is delivering a check to your king, there are three options. You could step away with the king, you can take the checking piece, or you could go in between. As we see, there are no pieces that could take the queen on h5. However, we do have the possibility of stepping in between with our queen on g8. Let's have a look at the options queen d5 and queen g5. You might be thinking, wait, these options are simply giving away the queen. Well, as it will turn out, it's not that simple. Let's start with queen d5 first. Queen takes d5, king a6, queen takes c6, capturing this pawn, preventing the threat of b7 checkmate. Black is after a takes b8, queen, king takes b8, going to be up a queen and a knight against a pawn with an easily winning position. Hence queen d5 is not the correct move. Then let's look at the option queen g5. Queen takes g5, king a6, and in this position white threatens the checkmate b7, and it's surprisingly difficult to stop this checkmate. We notice that none of the knight moves are going to help against b7 mate, and if queen g7 trying to protect the b7 square, well, it doesn't really work out since white has this square protected sufficiently and will still be able to deliver a checkmate. And if the black bishop on b8 goes somewhere along the h2 b8 diagonal, b7 is still going to be mate. So it turns out that bishop takes a7, or black can start with a move like queen a5 or queen b5 giving away their queen first, are the only moves. Let's look at bishop takes a7. Now it turns out if white is not concrete enough and simply recaptures the bishop on a7 back, white is going to be down a lot of material, as black has a knight and a queen against the king and 2 pawns. So white needs to be concrete in this position. First, let's have a look at b7 check. King b8, and now initially it appears as if white is doomed. The pawns are not going to be able to promote and black has a decisive material advantage. However, I found an absolutely stunning resource while looking at this study. c7, king takes c7 and b8 queen. It turns out that regardless of which piece will capture on b8, be it the bishop or be it the king, we're going to get a stalemate on the board. And if the king attempts to step away with king c6 in this position, white needs to play a very important in-between check, queen b7, prior to capturing the bishop on a7. And in this position we see that white is a king and a queen, while black is a king, queen and knight. Very often this position is drawn. There is one exception, however, as pointed out in Mark Dvoretsky's endgame manual, and this is when the black knight and queen are able to deliver a checkmate to the white monarch by force. However, this is not the case in this position. Why? Well, the knight on e1, it's a short range moving piece. That's how the knight works. It moves in little else. It's way too far from the white king on a6 to be able to support the queen in delivering a checkmate to the king. So in this position in particular, with the knight very far away from the white king, black is not going to be able to deliver a checkmate, and white will always have the ability to give checks with their queen, likely resulting in a perpetual. However, this puzzle, here white is attempting to win and not to draw, so this is not enough. Let's have a look at another move then. c7. It turns out that white is threatening 3 checkmates right now. c8 queen or rook in conjunction to b7 checkmate. And geometrically, black's queen is unable to stop all of those threats. Now, if it would be possible to go queen c6 in this position, black would be able to sufficiently defend against b7 in conjunction to c8 promotes to queen or to rook. However, the queen from g5 cannot move to c6 in this position. Now, if bishop takes b6, then c8 promotes to rook or queen, both are checkmates. So black's only option in this position is in fact queen a5 check or queen b5 check. Queen a5 check, let's start with this one. King takes a5, and now if king b7, attempting to stop the pawn from going to c8 and becoming a queen and delivering a checkmate, there comes b takes a7, and we're left with this position which is very similar to the phenomenon of pants as described by Mark Dvoretsky. And after, let's say, the knight moves, white is able to promote one of the pawns, and then the other pawn promotes, and white will yet again be up a king and a queen against the king and a knight. Now if the king is to take one of the pawns, then the pawn promotes to a queen and white is easily winning again. There is an additional option of bishop takes b6 in this position, king takes b6, and now if we are able to remove the knight on e1 away from the board, this would in fact be a stalemate, guys. Unfortunately for black, however, the knight on e1 exists, and after it makes a move, white will go c8 queen or c8 rook. White has the option to even choose which checkmate they would like to deliver. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, feel free to like, share, and comment on this video. It really helps the channel out, and there will be more gorgeous chess uploads coming up on a weekly basis. Ciao!